Hello everyone, this is Debbie from Ink and Page, and I'm here today with chapter 4 of the Ephemera Stash journal, and this is our last chapter. So lots of fun ephemera to go through today. There's going to be a bunch of talking up front, just FYI. So if you want to just skip ahead to the assembly, you can do that as well. I'm just going to quickly go through what is included in this kit, and I just, just because there's a bunch of stuff in here, and I just wanted to make sure that I go over all of it, because sometimes when I'm putting stuff in the journal, I can forget to do stuff. So, okay. If you are new and you would like to make one of these journals, you can get all the printables for free. Just go down to the description. There will be a link that says sign up here, and just click that link, put in your email, and I will send you all of the printables for this project. So you'll get all 4 weeks, and you can go back to the first video and you can start there. I would also very much appreciate it if you guys would like this video. It helps tons to get the video out to more people so that more people can participate. And since we're going to be doing a special event next month for June, we're going to be doing Summerween, which is going to be called Ink and Shadow. And the journal that we're going to be making is going to be called Inkbound. So I want to get as many people as possible, hopefully, to participate and to make a journal. I am beyond proud of all of you. I see so many people in the comments saying, this is my first journal. This is the first sewn in signature that I've ever done. And it's amazing to see the number of people that are just taking that kind of leap of faith with these projects. So we'll have a super fun project planned for next month. It's a little bit spooky, but overall just a fun, creative project that we can all work on together. Okay, so now into the Ephemera Stash journal for today. So there are a bunch of small ephemera pieces in this. You guys are going to be pretty busy with the cutting. It took me quite a while to cut it all out tonight. I'm going to start here with this. These are the spools. I thought it would be really fun to be able to keep snippets of ribbon and such in our journals, especially when it comes to Junk Journal July, sorry. I keep going back to January. It's fun to have those little snippets and bits in your journal. So these just work like this. I did a couple. If you want them to be sturdier, you can just glue 2 together. I printed everything that you're going to see today on 110-pound cardstock. You may want to vary your paper weights for your ephemera. It's completely up to you. I went ahead and printed all of my stuff on cardstock for today because it's better. I find it easier for videos. But the spools you definitely want to print on cardstock, and you can stick 2 of them together if you want them to be even sturdier than they are on here. They're pretty, they're a little floppy, but they hold the ribbon. This ribbon is very light. This is like a little bit of sari silk on there, and this is just a little bit of trim. So it holds those both fine. So, okay, and then I don't know, I guess I went a little crazy when I was making these, but I made 4 pages of these labels. They're all different ones, they're all different kinds, they're all different colors. Some have flowers, some have words, some have music, some have patterns. They're just all different. They were extremely fun to make, as you can tell by the number of them. So I thought these would be extremely useful for clusters, for decorating pages, just for anything, right? You could even use some of these as gift tags if you wanted. Just print something. This is plain on the back because these are not the ones. Mine are all cut out over here. I just printed these out to show you guys. But if you print something nice and neutral on the back, they could be really great gift tags. I didn't really print very many neutral things on the backs of mine, but I'll show you the papers in a minute. But these could be great. You could totally use these as gift tags if you print something neutral on the back of them. or just leave them white, and you know, you could do that as well if you wanted to. Okay, so there's 4 pages of these tags to cut out, and they're all different fun shapes and sizes, you know, just for some variety in your journals. I did do some fussy cuts. Some of you guys suggested in the comments just to do a bunch of naturey ones. I was kind of on the fence about this because I wasn't sure exactly what to do, but you could always add a butterfly, a flower, a mushroom. You know, this is just stuff to have, you know, in your arsenal if you want to use it. So I did branch out color-wise a little bit this week from the I've been using very, very neutral colors, but I did add some purple, pink, and blue in this week, just, you know, for a little variety's sake, because I've been making papers, you know, for 4 weeks now. Yeah, so I thought maybe you guys might want me to spice it up a little bit this week. So there's also, so there's 2 sizes. There's these small ones, and then there's these like medium-sized ones, and I did like one big one here because I love a big floral. So there's that. There's some collage tiles on here as well. And then I did some artist trading cards that have pictures or images on them that are just super naturey and kind of relate to the fussy cuts that I did. And then I also did some just like base, you know, artist trading card size things. So these are good bases for you guys to work off of. And you don't have to use these as rectangles. You can make them into tags. You can tear them in half. You can use them as tuck spots. There's a million different ways to use these. So I just wanted to give you guys a bunch of different colors, bases, patterns, you know, just to kind of try to inspire your creativity and to also, you know, just to go in different projects. So, okay, so that's the artist trading cards. And then I did a couple of these frames as well. And I thought that these could be used 2 ways. I did put images in the middles of them because I thought if you just want to have a quick image or something to put on something, this would be nice, right? But you could also cut the images out of the middle of these if you wanted and put something else in the middle. Or you could just layer your thing, your different thing over the top of this image. So there's 5 of these, 5 different sizes, different styles, different colors, just, you know, for different types of ephemera or different places in your journal. Also, like these could also be used as tuck spots, tags, you know, whatever you want to turn them into. You can use them as that journaling cards on the back if you wanted. Okay, and there's also envelopes this week. So I did some small ones, and I made a ton of wax seals to go, and I put them on here because pretty much the only place they would fit in the kit without making a whole nother page. But so there's these like kind of small traditional envelopes, and then coin envelopes as well with little matching cards to go with them. You don't need to use the cards with them if you don't want to, but I figured I had the space, so I might as well make little matching cards to go with them. And I did, this is a cute little bird theme on this one, so hopefully that will work for you guys. And then I did a matching words page for, like, I did the numbers last week, so I did words this week. And this, again, was super fun, and they came out really cute. And I think that these will look really neat in your journals and in our projects. So I tried to go with a huge range of words and phrases, just, you know, to give you a little jumping off point or prompt, you know, for whatever you're working on. Okay, so that is all of the ephemera. Let's go through the papers really quickly. Like I said, I did add a little bit more color this week. There's a little bit of blue, still very neutral. It's a little kind of a purpley blue in there. And then I did a bunch of these little patchworky style backgrounds, which I'm pretty sure are all upside down. Okay, so there's a bunch of these. I thought this is kind of like a layered fabric background, so I thought it would be good for cutting up, good for making ephemera out of, and good for backing things as well. And then we have this one too, again, just a bunch of different patterns and layers on here. And then I have this guy here. This is like kind of half floral, half canvas. Overall pretty neutral on that. And then like a bigger swirl with a little bit more color in it. And then okay, we're getting into our pinky purpley background here. This is more purple, but it has have a little couple touches of pink in it. And then this is kind of a more darker, like kind of foresty green with a little bit of purple. Oops, do I have this out of? I do have these out of order. I'm sorry. I thought I checked them. I'll do the washing strips last. Okay, so then we have this one here, which is like, you know, like I said, a little bit more deeper and darker. And then I did do a blue one, even though it's kind of an outlier in this kit overall. But I think cut up or added to things, it'll be that perfect little bit of color to bring your page to life. And then I did do a washi strip page, and this is also an outlier, but I wanted to do something contrasting for the rest of the kit. So I did use darker colors, darker blues. There's this lace here that's got a little bit of a black background. Most of these are bookend papers because I think they're just so perfect for layering. There's some architectural stuff right here and some text. So I think a good variety of different backgrounds. It's kind of in one color family, but since we had the pink and all that over there, the purple, this is a good contrast to that. So even though this is a washi strip page, almost any of the papers I just showed you could be used in a similar fashion. Okay, so that is our papers for the kit. Now there's also a whole bunch of stuff, a whole bunch of pockets for the actual kit. So there's a lot of different pockets in here, and many of you pointed out in the comments, I believe last week, that these pockets, you could print them out twice. Once to put pockets in the journal, and then once to have them for other projects, which is a super fantastic idea. And, you know, you could also print different stuff on the backs of them to extend their life. And so there's a bunch of different pockets that we're going to use functionally in the journal this week. This is going to be a crisscross pocket. We're going to make a couple of little folders, and then they're going to have a bunch of pockets on them. So through the folders that we're going to make, you're going to get these kind of I'm not sure, like, they're kind of like text spots, but they're kind of like, they're also pockets too. So you're going to get a couple of these through that, and there's a couple of pages of those as well. And then we're going to need big pockets this week. So if you have one left over from week 1, you could use that if you wanted, but there's also 2 in this kit, along with some additional just fussy cuts on the bottoms of this. So you need 2 of these large pockets. And the other thing that you're going to need is, there were some pockets left over from week 1 that look like this. And you're going to need these as well for this week. So basically, this is all you really need for week 1. If you want to use the extra pocket that was left over from week 1 that's really big, like it looks like this one here. This is the one I have left over from the week 1 kit. Yours may look different just depending on what you picked to put in your journal. And these are the 2 that are included in this week's. Okay, so I'm going to put this stuff aside, and we are going to get started on actually making the storage for all of the ephemera I just showed you. Okay, we're going to start with these little folders. Now we're going to make these little ephemera folders to hold the smaller pieces of ephemera, and they're going to go into pockets, these 2 pockets right here, as a matter of fact. inside one of our signatures, okay? So these two folders are exactly the same. So we're just gonna go through and we're gonna make them. You're gonna need all of these pieces, okay? So you're gonna need these guys. There's 2 sizes of these, okay? So you're gonna need 4 pockets for each folder that we're gonna make. Plus you're gonna need these angled pockets as well, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start with our inside pockets. Okay, so this is what the folder looks like on the printable. And this is what I printed on the back, okay? It's the canvas one with the flowers. I did the same thing here with the other one. The other folder looks like this on the printable. And then I printed this on the back, okay? All right, so I'm gonna put this one over here for just 1 second. You can mix and match your pockets however you want between the two folders. It doesn't matter as long as you just put you know, the pockets on the folders, and you can decide what do you want to be your inside and what do you want to be your outside as well. Okay, so this is what I accidentally put my other pockets over here, so I'm going to grab these guys. Alright, so I'm going to use this for my outside and this for my inside because these have these little patchwork pockets. So these kind of match what's going on the inside here. They're actually kind of camouflage. I always just print my stuff and I don't really worry about like what's going to end up on the back because I like to kind of be surprised. Okay. But I really love this paper, so I'm pretty excited to use this on the outside of both of my little folders. Okay, so our little pockets are going to go on like this in just all 4 of them. So just going to kind of lay mine out how I want them. You want to skew them all the way towards the bottom so that there's room at the top of the folder for everything to poke out without actually getting out of the little folder here. Okay, so we got that going. I think that looks pretty good for my arrangement. All right, I'm just going to grab my glue and we are going to glue these guys down. These pockets should be pretty tight once they're glued down, so they'll be good for the smaller pieces of ephemera. You could, if you wanted to, print some extra envelopes, any of the envelopes from today's kit or from last week's kit if you wanted to use envelopes in these pockets. I think I'm just going to go for the ephemera in mine. Just for ease, but you know, I also thought that these would be great to have these little folders because you could pull the folder out of the journal, you know, for whatever project that you're working on. Oh my gosh, this is funny. I printed similar papers on the back. You could print, you could just grab your folder out of your journal with the ephemera that you need in it and work on it, and then just pop the folder back in when you're done. So you got, I think that's like a journal within a journal, or a storage system within a storage system. I'm not sure. But I do tend to like things that function like that. Like you could pull the piece out that you need, and then you can return it when you're done. So I think that's going to be a good addition to this journal. Just like the last week we put the ephemera in envelopes that you can pull out, use the ephemera you need, and then just put the envelopes back when you're done. Alright, here we go. I just want to make sure I get that as even as I possibly can. Add a little bit more glue here on the edges. I'm just trying to keep my glue as close to the edges as possible so that I can preserve as much room as possible inside my pockets. And we'll glue those down. There's that. Okay, now you have two of these, and these can go how you can put these on however you like. These are the outside back pockets, and the crisscross is supposed to go in the front. But if you wanted to put these two pockets on the front and this one on the back, you could do that too. If you only want to put one pocket on here, you could. If you wanted to do it like that, you know, you could do it like that too and just not use those. It just really depends on how you want to customize this in terms of what you're going to put in it. So just think about what you're going to put in it, and then you can add your pockets in however you like. And you can make as many of these folders as you want as well, so they could accommodate different types of ephemera, because you have all the little building blocks already. And all you can do is just put them together however you like. I do like the idea of putting these on here like this. I think that's actually would be pretty cool. I'm going to put, I think I'll put 2 pockets on this one, and I might only put 1 pocket on my other one. We'll see when I get there, how I feel. And any pockets you don't use, you can just stick in your journal to use on a different project. Okay. Did I get that straight? I hope I did. Okay, so I'll turn this one over, and then I'm going to use this here. I love these patterns. They're like vintage. They might be textile patterns. I'm not sure. I cut them off. I found them on Raw Pixel, which I love to like go over there and just sort through all the interesting stuff they have on that website. They have tons of vintage ephemera. Okay, so put that on there. And then this is going to go on here like this. And then, you know, the bigger things can be tucked in back behind this here. And this could be like a little mini storage system, just this itself. And then this guy goes right on here, and you could certainly put it on if you wanted to do it that way. You could do that too. I'm going to put mine this way, I think, because I like this pattern. But you could do it either way. And like I said before, you could, you know, print a couple of these and, you know, do your pocket configurations different on every single one. Put that down there. Okay, look, that we're already done with our first one here. I'm just gonna put this aside to dry while we work on our other one. Okay, so let's pop our pockets in here. Now this one has all the pockets are different on this one. I made the other one matchy-matchy, and this one is more scrappy. So just depends on what your mood is and what you want to have on there. It's nice to have kind of one like very neutral brown one. It kind of feels like that one is like coming home, you know, it's the base colors of junk journaling is this like vintagey, you know, kind of sepia brown color. All right, so let's put this guy on here. It's like, this is where you can't go wrong. There's that guy. And then we'll do these two. I think we'll go like this. And then like this. Oops. And you know, you could even come back through here with some of your ephemera and decorate these pockets if you like. You could put a little, you know, like a wax seal on the front of the pocket that has the wax seals in it. You could put a butterfly on the butterfly pockets, stuff like that. And there were labels last week too, so you could use those blank labels from last week if you want to like label your pockets with what's inside of them. Okay, so we got that going. So let's go ahead and do our front. Let's see what I've got here. I've got that. I really like that pattern. And I really like that pattern. Okay, so I think I'm only going to do one pocket on this one so that I'll save this pocket for something else. Because then I can put, like, if I have some taller ephemera, like my washi strips and stuff, I could stick those in there. Or taller tag, or perhaps I'm working on a project and I've got it partially assembled, but I need a place to put it. You know, while I'm working on something else, it could go in this pocket. Just kind of hold on to it while I'm working on something else. Okay. And then this is going to go on here like this one. If you wanted, you could leave this side open if you didn't want to have it be like a tight pocket on all three sides. You just wanted to kind of have an open side. Sometimes I do that on these pockets because it allows you to slide the ephemera in and out really easy. But I guess for this type of a project, we want to make sure that our stuff isn't flying out. All right, got this guy right on there. I really like this pattern. I can put that on there. And that one on there. Okay, so we have our two folders done. So what we're going to do now is we are going to grab our journals right here. And we're going to do some pocket installation on here. Okay, so for this week, we have two signatures. You see all my notes in here on what I want to put, where I want to put everything. Okay, so what we have for this week, okay, so we have a bunch of different things going on here. We are going to put a crisscross pocket on the front of here. So I'm going to get started on that right here with this one. And then we're going to put these, where are they? We're going to put the little pockets, here they are, on the inside of this signature. Okay, so we're going to start by gluing you can glue these either way. It's completely up to you. So just stack them in a way that you like them, and then we're just going to glue them down right here on the front of this signature. It's crazy when I think about, like, this goes together pretty quickly overall. Like, you know, I know it does take time to cut everything out. But once you have everything cut out, it goes together really quickly, but it always takes me so much longer to like design it and figure out the measurements. It's almost like a surreal experience to be on both sides of the coin, so to speak. I watched so many I listened to so many documentaries while I was doing this. Okay, so now we're going to line this one up and put that one on top. And then just some glue here on the edge. Okay. And then you're just going to line this one up with the bottom of this one. So they just stack right on top of each other. This is one of my favorite pocket constructions, so I had to include it in here. And then we got these two. So I think I'm gonna go like that. Makes sense. Okay. So this one goes on here. And then right on top of that, just like the other one. So we're just gonna try to stack these all up nice and evenly. It's a little bit off there, but I think I can still get that. Okay, and now the last one. It's gonna go like that on there. And then we'll just line this guy right back up. And put that on there. Just make sure that's even. Or as even as it can be. There we go. Alright, so that's the front of our signature. It's possible I should have done that one second, but we're going to use... let's see here. Okay, so we're gonna use these pockets here. These are they're the same shape, but they're smaller. Okay, these are for week 1. These are from this week. Okay, so we are going to put the pockets on this, just like this. 3 in a row. Okay, so these are going to be definitely for smaller ephemera. If you take the envelopes and you do the folding and everything, they will fit in this just fine, no problem. So I was thinking, for me, what I was thinking here is putting the spools in these front pockets. You know, I thought this would be a good place to keep the like ribbons and scraps and stuff in the front. So this thing is super chunky. I originally was going to try to get 6 signatures in here, and I'm pretty glad that I did not do that, because it would have been way too overstuffed, because like right now it's pretty stuffed. Okay, so that's how our pockets are going to go on, just so you know where we're going. So I'm going to start and do bottom ones first. And so these here, I'm just going to put glue on them, and we should be in business. All right. I'm just going to go low here on this, so they have plenty of room going up the page. I'm sure you guys can tell I really love these, like this whole patchwork design situation, because I put it on everything. But I just love how like flexible it is and how many options you get with it. Because you can just, you know, I'm always thinking about what can I cut up and what can I stamp on. Oops, I grabbed 2 by accident. I am using glue on these. Usually, a lot of times I'll use tape. But I noticed that like the glue is just so much better for working pockets, like pockets that are going to get a lot of action. The glue does, it makes a difference to have the glue. The tape doesn't always work so great on those. Especially since I have a tendency to pull on stuff too soon after I've glued it down, which is, you know, I should probably work on that. But sometimes, you know, you just have to do it. So I think I'm going to go with that one there. I just like to get a good look at it and decide. So we're going to put glue right here. So press those down. I don't think I'll be able to put anything on top of this. I'm going to have to be careful. All right, and let's put this one here. This, I'm using the glue press from my Sweet Petunia, and it has the Nuvo glue in it. And that glue has it grabs pretty quickly, like it sticks down. So that's really good. You guys obviously can move, you know, at a little bit slower pace because you can just do it, you know, and then let everything dry. But I want to go through this whole thing, obviously, you know, in a like sequence here now. So mine is going to be a little bit more fragile. Okay, and I got my last two pockets. I think I'm going to go with this one here. Go. Okay, I got that there. Just make sure that sticks down. These pockets would probably be real good for like these guys, the different size labels. And because there's different sizes, you can kind of put your shorter ones up in here, you know, and your bigger ones kind of down low. All right, here we go here. I'm going to fold these back and put this guy on here, and we are going to be in good shape, I think. Just going to hold that down there for just a sec. I can't really put like a weight on that or anything. Okay. All right, so that's that. I'm going to hop into the next signature real quick because I want to give this signature a little rest before we go on to that pocket. That's going to go right there. So we'll quickly do the pockets that go in here. You can see all my notes, which I should have taken out. Okay, so we're going to go here and here with these, and then our ephemera folders are going to go into these two pockets right here. So that will be fun to put those in there. So we're just going to pull the tape off of these guys. I did pre-tape these just to help move it along, and I wanted to give, you know, I'm trying to balance the glue and the tape here. this guy. All right. Fold this one over. I'm just going to put this down pretty low, I think. On that. Oops. Yeah. Just keep an eye on what you're doing right here, so you give yourself enough space between the like spine, your sewing, and all of that. Oops. With all this like neutral brown, it's hard to see the edge of the page. Okay, there we go. That. Okay, and remember these are the 2 pockets from week 1. I don't want to over say that, but I want to make sure that everybody's clear on where everything came from. Okay, so I have my 2 little ephemera folders here, and I'm just going to gently slide them in here. They're going to go in here like this. This is going to go in here like so. I got those 2 there. Okay, and then we're going to get our giant pockets. Okay, so I have these 2 are from this week, and this one is from week 1. Your week 1 may look different just depending on what you already used. So this is just what mine happens to look like. This is another one from week 1. That's another one from week 1. And there's one more in the back here. This is also from week 1. Just so you know, there's a bunch of different patterns, so you can just kind of mix and match however you like. So we're going to put these on the backs of our signatures here, and on the front of this signature as well. So you're just gonna, I think we're gonna go with this one on this signature, because I think that's like the perfect match. And these are for our larger pieces of ephemera, or like I said before, if you have something that you want to, like a work in progress or whatever that you have going on, you can tuck it into these bigger pockets. And the other thing is, this is like, you know, fully customizable. So add pockets wherever you want, in any place that you want. Because like this one here, this big pocket could have another pocket easily stacked on top of it. You know, like you could put another, you could even use one of the washi strips from the kit to create another pocket right here. Or if you have your offcuts from cutting out your ephemera, you could also use that as a tuck spot. I can't reach mine. They're on the desk across from me, but that, you know, that would be an option as well for, I think this will look pretty on here because it kind of picks this up. It'll look pretty. But yeah, so, you know, you could put pockets on top of pockets on top of pockets. If you don't want to use this big pocket here, you could use one of these pockets. This is the pocket I didn't use on my little inside folio. Or you could use any of the pockets that were included in the kit. So, okay, so I'm going to put this one on this way, I think. Oops, did I take that one off? Yeah, I did. Okay. Just kind of line that guy up right there. You should have plenty of room between your signatures because, you know, I left a pretty good margin between, you know, where we sewed in all of our little signature our signatures into the spine. I was already thinking ahead to this one. Oh, that actually does look good. Okay. I was worried it was not going to be, I was worried this one was going to be too white to go right here, but I think it looks good. I could do it like this too, but I think so that these two would mirror each other. But I think I like it like this, because then this is kind of, the blues kind of pick up on each other nicely as well. These are like the biggest pockets I've ever made. Oops. I want to take off the, there we go. I'm really surprised at how quick this went together. It was pretty good. All right, there goes that in there. Okay, I want to give these pockets a little extra love. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna come back through here with some glue to just touch those up, just to make sure they stay in. Okay, so look at that. We got all of our pockets installed into our journal. So we, and you know, you may want to, at this point, now that we're everything's got pockets in it, all the signatures are finished, you may want to reevaluate how this is organized. Oops, you guys are seeing all behind the curtain. You may want to see, you know, just reorganize it, you know, depending on the signatures, depending on, maybe you don't want all the tags in the first signature, you know, maybe you want to put those in the second signature. So, you know, it just kind of, you can take a look at that and reevaluate it. And I'm going to put some of my spools in here. There's 2 different shapes for this. And kind of figure out what, you know, really works best for you and for your workflow and for the projects that you have that you would like to make. I guess we'll be putting, I'm already thinking ahead, you know, to July and how, you know, how we could utilize this. You could definitely put a second pocket on here as well. On here, you could even double up the pockets here. Just however, you know, I guess it kind of depends on how chunky your your journal is and how many more pockets you want to add into it. So there is that as well. Okay, so let's see. I'm gonna put in some more, but I'm just gonna pop in a few more things. Like I said, I'm gonna put a few more things in here, and then I'll let you guys have at it, and you guys can fill yours up and decorate it however you like. This, you know, obviously is our last week on this, you know, project that's gonna go somewhere else apparently. So, you know, now this one's yours to take and do with whatever you like, to fill it up with whatever you want. You could even use, if you have ephemera left over from previous freebies, or perhaps you are using a different kit, you could definitely add some of that in here so you have that to use later. Put that in there. And let's see, what do I have? Oh, I have my frames and I have my envelopes. So I'm going to go ahead with the envelopes in these bigger pockets here. These guys can go over. I should just go in here like this. It probably doesn't matter. Go here like that. I should probably have scored and folded them, but I will do that. So I have those ready to go for later. But for right now, I'm just going to stick those guys in there. Oh, and let's put, ooh, what should we put in here? Okay, there's bunches of stuff. I still have handfuls of ephemera over here. So I've got these guys. These are the fussy cut lanterns and books here. And then I have my big flowers. and mushrooms in here. Oops, go ahead, little buddy, come on. Okay, and then I have my big butterflies. I can go in here, and then I think what I will do is get this one and use this one for the smaller ephemera. So I got butterflies here. This neutral background was probably a better idea for the inside of this than my crazy one on the other one, but you know, you live, you learn. We'll put flowers. Wait, did I put in here mushrooms? Yeah, flowers. Yeah, it would probably be a good idea to put a little, like put one little mushroom on here so you know that there's mushrooms in there. Put a butterfly on here so you know there's butterflies. Flowers, mushrooms, flowers, flowers. Now all my ephemera pieces are kind of sorted out, and then I have my little wax seals that I can pop into this one here. It's on there, and then I can pop some of my, I'll put my bigger frames in the bigger pocket here. I don't want to put too much stress on my pockets since I just glued them in, but, and then I can put my smaller frames here in the front. And I'll put, I think I'll put two of these guys over here. And this one as well. I'm going to put my extra pocket in this pocket here. Just kind of sticking out so that I'll be able to see it. And then I have some artist trading cards, which I can put, actually I think I'm going to do these ones in here. These are the ones that are like more patterny based and like good for backgrounds and stuff. Put that in there, and I'm gonna put some of them over here as well. So just have a good selection of, like if I say I grab this, right? I have a good selection of ephemera in here to use for, you know, whatever I want to use it in. And, you know, I could even stick a tag in the back of this, so I would have the tag, you know, and then I have this little book, and I'm like, oh, okay, so I can grab this, and I can go, and I have stuff to decorate with, just all ready to go in here. I've got to be careful of my pockets. There we go. Put that one in there. You could even throw some of the word ephemera in here if you wanted. I'm going to add some of the artist trading cards from the pictures in here as well, with like, these are the nature-y scene ones. Go in here. Kind of okay, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and put some of these labels back here because I think this is the perfect spot for these bigger labels. This is super fun. I love this. I think it's kind of handy to put like a mix of ephemera in here, like not just all. This is like a bigger piece right here. There's a couple of these little seed tickets and stuff in here as well. I didn't do a ton of big ephemera, you know, because I wanted everything, make sure everything fit in here. But this is pretty fun. So yeah, so like I actually would maybe will make a couple more of these guys because I think this is a good handy situation to have, like, because I like to like go out in the morning, like I'll sit outside with the dogs and I'll just take my journal out there, and this would be like a super great way to take just a small amount of stuff with me instead of the huge pile that I am now carting out there with myself right now. Okay, so one of the things I was thinking is that I wanted to include book pages or space for book pages in here. So I thought this back pocket here would be good. I think my book page is going to be a little bit big, so I'm just going to go ahead and fold it. I don't think that's going to hurt it in any way. And then I could also, if I had extra book pages or whatever, like leftover from other things, like I have, you know, in my drawer here, I have just this like little poetry one. I think this one will actually fit in here. So I just have like book pages and stuff ready to go in the back of this. Because, you know, book pages are super handy to have on hand. And then I was also thinking, like, there's like a few things that you guys are probably going to have spaces to, you know, add whatever your own ephemera is. Like I have some, this is like T9 paper. I'm going to put it into thirds instead. But, you know, this is, again, always a good thing to kind of have in your back pocket. So I guess kind of think, maybe I should, well, this is kind of like a back pocket journal. Like all the things that you kind of want to have hanging around and ready to go on your desk. You know, those could be in there. I have like a whole drawer full of scraps. The other thing I did, which, you know, is probably not, like, I don't think I needed to make more stuff for this, but I was like, I did punch, like I had some like leftover pieces of like cardstock with like, you know, printed cardstock that was just like little pieces and borders and stuff. So I did get like, I have this like, this is the postage stamp one, you know, like I punched a bunch of tabs, I punched a bunch of flowers, stuff like that. I thought I could just pop those guys in here as well. And then I would have those ready to go as well, because like, you know, whenever I have offcuts from doing the, you know, cutting out the ephemera, I like to like just sit here and punch them when I'm waiting for stuff. Like if I'm waiting for something to save or print or whatever, I'll just, you know, sit here with the punch and just punch out those extra pieces. So I thought these would be, you know, this would be a good place to store these little pieces as well. I feel like now, like I thought this journal was big enough, but now I feel like it needs to be twice as big to accommodate all of the things that I wanted to put inside of it. But, you know, I could just add these into my little label area here. And I think it's looking pretty good. I think it looks pretty neat, even though it's packed full of stuff. You know, some areas are a little more skew, like the tag area is a little more skew, but it's packed full of tags. So hopefully, you know, I didn't put my word ephemera in here yet, but I will. I think I'm going to get an envelope from last week for these because they're so small, but there's so many of them. And I think, like, I love to have words to put in my journals. So, oh, I didn't put anything in here yet either. So, you know, I hope you guys enjoyed this project. I enjoyed it a whole lot, I have to tell you. I loved making the ephemera. It was so much fun to think this up and just to, you know, try to, it's kind of a challenge in a way to come up with ephemera that is somewhat neutral. You know what I mean? Like it was a little bit of a challenge on occasion to come up with ephemera that was neutral enough to try to use in other ways. So I did kind of make some ephemera that wasn't very neutral, but I think overall it came out really well. And I am so thankful for you guys, for your enthusiasm for this project, for crafting along with me, for creating your own journals, for having tons of ideas and suggestions in the comments. I just, you know, I think that overall this has been a super great project, and I am very excited to continue on with next month's project, which, like, as I mentioned earlier, is going to be Summer Weed. So it's going to be kind of a little bit of a spooky project, not specifically Halloween. So, you know, it'll be more gothic-y. It'll be pretty. It will be mysterious, and it will be fun. So I hope you guys will stick around and do that project with us next month. That's going to start next week, next Monday. So thank you very much for joining me today, and I will see you then with a brand new project.